You think you have a speaking problem, but most of the time you don't. You have a nervous system problem. It's not your vocabulary, it's your nervous system. And if that sentence hits you in the chest right now, stay with me, because this is the first time you'll hear the real reason you pause, freeze, and go silent, even when you already know the words. Have you ever felt this? You're fine, until it's your turn to speak. Your mind is full of English. You understand the question. You even know the answer. But the moment you open your mouth, something strange happens. Your throat tightens. Your tongue feels heavy. Your brain suddenly turns white, like a blank page. And the silence shows up. Not a short pause. A painful pause. The kind of pause where you can feel your heartbeat in your ears. The kind of pause where you start judging yourself while everyone is still waiting. And then you smile. You nod. You say yes, yes, or sorry. And you escape. Later, you go home and you replay the moment again, and again like a movie you hate, but can't stop watching. If that's you, listen carefully. You are not stupid. You are not slow. And you are not bad at English. What you're experiencing is performance pressure. Your body thinks you are in danger. Not physical danger, but social danger. The danger of being judged. The danger of looking wrong. The danger of being embarrassed. And your brain reacts the same way it would react to a real threat. Here's the simple science. Inside your brain, there is a small alarm system called the amygdala. You don't need to memorize that word. Just remember this. The amygdala is the danger button. When it feels threat, it activates fight, flight, or freeze. Fight means you get aggressive. Flight means you escape. Freeze means your voice disappears. Your mouth stops. Your mind goes blank. That's why you can speak English alone in your room, but you struggle in front of people. Because alone, there's no danger. But in public, your brain feels watched. And being watched can feel like a spotlight. A spotlight makes your body tense, even if your mind is trying to stay calm. And that's why studying grammar harder often doesn't fix this. Because grammar lives in your thinking brain, the part that plans, organizes, and builds sentences. But when fear hits, the alarm system takes control. Your body becomes the boss. Your breath becomes shallow. Your muscles tighten. Your voice becomes small. And suddenly your English knowledge is still there, but you cannot access it fast enough. It's like having money in a bank, but your card doesn't work when you need it most. So let's reframe fluency. Fluency is not knowing more grammar. Fluency is automatic output under mild stress. It means you can produce simple sentences without your brain fighting your body. It means you can keep going even if the sentence is not perfect. It means your mouth can move while your mind is still choosing the next word. That's the real skill. And the good news is, automatic output can be trained. In this video, I'm going to show you a 6-layer system that trains the full speaking machine. Not just vocabulary, not just grammar, the full system. Your mouth, your breath, your brain, your rhythm, your emotional control, and your confidence under attention. Because if you only train one part, you'll still freeze when it matters. But when you train the whole system, something changes. Pauses become small. Silence becomes rare. And your voice becomes steady. And one more thing. While you listen today, you are also improving your English. This video is designed like graded listening practice. Clear sentences. Simple structure. Real examples. So even if you don't speak yet, your ear is learning. Your brain is absorbing patterns. Your confidence is growing quietly, sentence by sentence. So if fear lives in your tongue, we don't study more words. We retrain the system. Now let's start with the first layer. How to train your mouth and breath, so your voice doesn't disappear when pressure shows up. Now let's move to the second layer. If pausing is not just a language problem, but a nervous system problem, then we cannot treat speaking as only a mental activity. Speaking is physical. It is breath, muscle, rhythm, timing. And if you want fluency, you must train your mouth the way an athlete trains a body. First, breath. Most learners ignore this, but breath is the remote control of your nervous system. When you are nervous, your breathing becomes short and fast. Short breath creates short sentences. Short sentences create panic. Panic creates more pauses. But when you slow your breath, your body receives a signal. We are safe. And when your body feels safe, your voice becomes stable. Before you speak, try this. Inhale slowly through your nose for 4 seconds. Hold for 2. Exhale slowly for 6. Do this twice. You are not doing meditation. You are resetting your system. Then speak. You will immediately notice your voice is steadier. This is not magic. This is biology. Now we apply the first real tool, the one breath rule. 1 breath, 1 full sentence. No stopping in the middle. No editing. No restarting. Even if the grammar is not perfect, finish the sentence. Why? Because when you stop in the middle, your brain goes into correction mode. Correction mode kills flow. Flow creates fluency. Start simple. Take 1 breath and say, I am practicing my English every day. Finish it. Don't pause after, I am. Don't pause after English. Complete the full idea. Then again. And again. At first it feels strange. You may rush. You may stumble. But the goal is not speed. The goal is continuity. Here's what happens in your brain when you repeat like this. Every time you say the same sentence smoothly, your brain strengthens that pathway. In neuroscience, this is related to something called myelination. You don't need the complex details. Just understand this. Repetition makes the signal travel faster and smoother. Like turning a dirt road into a paved highway. The more you repeat, the less your brain has to search. The sentence becomes automatic. Automatic is the key word. Fluency is not thinking faster. It is retrieving faster. And retrieval becomes faster when you repeat aloud. Now add mirror activation. This is not about confidence posing. It is about desensitization. When you speak in front of a mirror, your brain simulates social exposure. You see eyes looking at you, even if those eyes are yours. At first, it feels uncomfortable. That discomfort is good. You are training your system to speak while being watched. Stand in front of a mirror. Look at your own eyes. Take 1 breath. Say 5 sentences in a row. For example, I am improving step by step. I don't need to be perfect. I can speak even when I feel nervous. My voice is getting stronger. I finish what I start. That's a 5-sentence loop. Repeat the loop 3 times. Same sentences. Same rhythm. Same breath pattern. This is not boring repetition. This is building muscle memory. Your mouth learns how to move without hesitation. Your tongue becomes familiar with sound transitions. Your jaw relaxes. Your pacing stabilizes. And here's something important. Don't change the sentences every day in the beginning. Keep them stable for 1 week. Why? Because consistency builds automaticity. When you change sentences too often, your brain stays in creative mode. We don't want creativity yet. We want control. Once control is strong, creativity becomes easy. After a few days, something small but powerful happens. You finish a sentence without stopping. That's a micro win. You speak 5 sentences in a row without freezing. Another micro win. You look at yourself in the mirror and don't look away. Another micro win. These small successes build a confidence loop. Your brain starts associating speaking with success, not danger. Confidence is not built by big speeches. It is built by repeated small completions. So your daily mouth training could look like this. 2 minutes breathing reset. 5 sentences, 1 breath each. Repeat the 5-sentence loop 3 times. Look at yourself while speaking. Do not stop mid-sentence. 10 minutes total. But powerful. After 2 weeks, your mouth will move faster. Your pauses will shrink. Your breathing will stabilize automatically when you start speaking. You will feel less stuck in the middle of ideas because your body has learned how to continue. But here is the truth. Mouth training alone is not enough. You can train your tongue perfectly. You can breathe correctly. You can finish sentences smoothly. But if your brain is still translating from your native language every time you speak, you will still pause. So the next layer is deeper. Because mouth training is useless if your brain still translates. Now we move to the third layer. If the mouth is trained but the brain still translates, you will always feel a small delay. That delay is the silent enemy of fluency. Let's talk about the translation delay problem. When you want to say something in English, what happens first? For many learners, the idea appears in their native language. Then the brain searches for English words. Then it rearranges grammar. Then it checks for mistakes. Then finally, the mouth speaks. That entire process may take 1 or 2 seconds. But in conversation, 1 or 2 seconds feels like eternity. That gap is where fear enters. Fluency requires direct access. Idea to English. Not idea to native language to English. So the next step is cognitive training. The first tool is simple but powerful: daily thinking in English. Not studying. Not writing essays. Just thinking. Choose small moments in your day and narrate them silently in English. When you wake up, I feel tired today. When you walk outside, the air is cold. When you eat lunch, this tastes better than yesterday. These are simple sentences. That's the point. Do not wait until your English is advanced. Think in basic English. Short sentences. Clear words. The goal is not complexity. The goal is removing the translation layer. At first, your brain will resist. It will jump back to your native language. That's normal. Gently bring it back. English only for the next 5 minutes. Treat it like a game. Over time, something shifts. You stop translating because the idea starts forming directly in English. That's when cognitive fluency begins. Now we add the second tool, shadowing. Shadowing is not repeating randomly. It is copying rhythm, tone, and flow. When you shadow a speaker, you are training prosody. Prosody means the music of language. The rise and fall of voice. The stress. The pacing. Many learners focus too much on grammar and forget melody. But real fluency sounds smooth because of rhythm, not perfection. Pick a short audio clip. A podcast. A YouTube video. A speech. Listen to one sentence. Pause. Repeat exactly as you heard it. Same speed. Same emotion. Same pauses. If the speaker says, "Let me explain something important," don't just repeat the words. Copy the music. Let me explain something important. Your brain starts mapping sound patterns. Your mouth learns natural transitions between words. This reduces hesitation because your speech becomes rhythmic instead of robotic. Melody over perfection. Always remember that. Now we introduce connectors. These are cognitive bridges. When your brain needs time to think, connectors keep your mouth moving. Instead of freezing, you say, "Let me think. Actually. Well. So basically. What I mean is," these phrases are not fillers. They are bridges. They give your brain 1 extra second to organize the next idea. That second prevents panic. Without connectors, silence feels like failure. With connectors, silence becomes intentional. Now combine everything with the 60-second non-stop rule. Set a timer for 60 seconds. Choose a topic. Speak continuously. Do not stop. Do not apologize. Do not restart. If you forget a word, describe it differently. If you lose your direction, use a connector and continue. For example, "Let me tell you about my weekend. Actually, it was quite simple. I stayed at home most of the time, but what I enjoyed was the quiet atmosphere." The rule is simple. Stay inside the sentence. Even if the sentence is imperfect, stay inside it. Do not jump out. This is where the insight becomes real. Fluency is staying inside the sentence. Many learners abandon sentences halfway. They say, "I want to. Sorry, forget it." That habit trains the brain to escape. The 60-second rule trains the brain to endure. Endurance builds flow. Now add the recording feedback loop. Record your 60-second speaking. Listen to it later. Not to criticize, but to observe. Ask yourself, did I pause more than 3 seconds? Did I use connectors smoothly? Did my voice sound tense? Did I finish my ideas? When you listen, you become both speaker and coach. This awareness accelerates improvement. You will notice patterns you never saw before. Maybe you always slow down at complex sentences. Maybe you repeat, too often. Awareness allows adjustment. Over time, the combination becomes powerful. You think in English during daily life. You shadow to train rhythm. You use connectors to maintain flow. You speak 60 seconds without stopping. You record and adjust. That is cognitive fluency. Not memorized sentences. Not perfect grammar. But automatic thought-to-speech flow. And something beautiful happens. You begin to trust your voice. You don't panic when you forget a word. You don't collapse when you make a mistake. Because your system knows how to continue. Your mouth and brain are now working together. But there is still one more barrier. You can speak alone. You can speak calmly. You can speak for 60 seconds in your room. But what happens when people are watching? Now comes the hardest part, speaking under pressure. Now we arrive at the layer most people avoid. You can speak perfectly alone. You can speak clearly to a mirror. You can complete your 60-second challenge in your bedroom. But the moment realize look at you, something changes. Your heart beats faster. Your throat tightens. Your brain feels empty. This is not a language problem. This is performance anxiety. Let's explain it simply. When you feel judged or watched, your brain activates a survival system called the fight or flight response. The amygdala, a small emotional center in your brain, detects social threat. It doesn't know the difference between a tiger and a meeting room. Attention feels like danger. When the amygdala activates, blood flow shifts away from the thinking brain and toward survival systems. That's why your vocabulary disappears. It's not gone. It's just temporarily offline. This is called an amygdala hijack. So how do we prevent it? First, you don't fight it. You regulate it. The simplest tool is the 3-second grounding technique. When someone asks you a question, do not answer immediately. Instead, take one slow breath in. Feel your feet on the floor. Exhale slowly. Then begin. 3 seconds. That's all. Those 3 seconds tell your nervous system, I am safe. They allow the thinking brain to come back online. They transform panic into presence. Now let's talk about pauses. There are 2 kinds of pauses, panic pause and intentional pause. A panic pause feels chaotic. Your eyes move. Your face tightens. You search desperately for words. Silence feels heavy and embarrassing. An intentional pause is calm. You look at the person. You breathe. You say, that's a great question. Then you continue. The difference is internal state, not vocabulary. Fluent speakers pause all the time. The difference is they own the pause. They don't apologize for it. So start practicing intentional pauses. When speaking alone, build small silent moments between ideas. For example, let me explain this clearly. Pause. First, pause. The main reason is, train your brain to associate silence with control, not failure. Next, exposure training. You cannot overcome performance anxiety by avoiding performance. You must simulate pressure daily. Here's how. Stand in front of your mirror and imagine 5 people watching you. Speak for 60 seconds. Then imagine 10 people. Then imagine your boss asking a difficult question. Increase emotional intensity gradually. Another technique, record yourself while standing up, not sitting. Standing increases physiological arousal slightly. Practice staying calm in that state. You can also practice question drills. Ask yourself challenging questions. Why should we hire you? Explain your idea in 30 seconds. What are your weaknesses? Answer immediately after your 3-second grounding breath. Over time, your nervous system learns something important. Attention is not danger. Now let's add structure, because structure reduces stress. When explaining something under pressure, use the 3-step story structure. Step 1, context. Step 2, action. Step 3, result. For example, first, we noticed a delay in the system. Then we adjusted the workflow. As a result, efficiency improved by 20%. Simple, clear, organized. When your brain has a structure, it doesn't panic. It follows a map. Let me tell you about my own moment. There was a meeting where I used to freeze. People around the table. Senior managers present. My old self would have avoided eye contact and hoped not to be called. But that day, I had trained differently. When my name was mentioned, I felt the old adrenaline rise. My heart moved faster. But instead of reacting, I took one slow breath. I felt my feet. 3 seconds. I began with an intentional pause. Let me walk you through this briefly. Then I followed the 3-step structure. Context. Action. Result. I didn't speak fast. I didn't try to sound impressive. I stayed inside the sentence. And something shifted. The room didn't feel like a threat anymore. It felt like a space. After I finished, there was silence. Not awkward silence. Respectful silence. Someone nodded. Someone said, "That makes sense." That was the moment I understood something powerful. Fluency is calm under attention. Not perfect grammar. Not fast speech. Calm under attention. When you can regulate your nervous system, own your pauses, simulate pressure, and use simple structure, speaking in public becomes a trained skill. Not a gamble. And once your body learns that speaking under attention is safe, fear loses its power. When practice becomes identity, fluency becomes permanent. Now we reach the final shift. Everything we talked about, breath control, one-breath sentences, thinking in English, shadowing, connectors, pressure training, none of it works long-term if it stays a technique. It has to become identity. The difference is powerful. Not, I want to speak fluently, but I am someone who trains my voice every day. When fluency becomes identity, you stop asking, "Am I good enough?" You start asking, "Did I train today?" Here is a simple 30-minute daily structure you can use anywhere. First 10 minutes, mouth activation. 5 sentences. 1 breath each. Mirror practice. Speak clearly. Finish every sentence. Next 10 minutes, brain training. Shadow a short clip. Repeat with rhythm. Then do 1 60-second non-stop speaking round. Final 10 minutes, exposure and reflection. Record your voice. Listen once. Write one small improvement. Then think silently in English for 2 minutes before you end. That's it. 30 minutes. No drama. No perfection. And remember this rule, no 0 days. Even if you are tired. Even if you are busy. Even if you only have 5 minutes. Speak 1 sentence. Record 1 thought. Listen to 1 minute of English. Because consistency trains identity. Also, use English listening as daily exposure. This video, podcasts, interviews. Let your ears stay in English. Listening reduces fear because your brain becomes familiar with rhythm and speed. Familiarity creates safety. Over time, you will stop saying, "I'm bad at speaking." You will say, "I train." And training builds confidence quietly. If this journey feels like your story, support the channel. Like if you choose practice over fear. Subscribe to Inspire English Stories for real growth in English and mindset. Comment, "I'm training my voice." Say it publicly. Identity grows when you declare it. Fluency is not a gift. It is a trained response.